Okay, let's pray.
King comfort the spirit of the Lord, every represent us of the interest of goodness and giver of life, come into us, and cleanse us of all impurity, and save our souls of good one.
So, you remember where we finish last time?
We finished 2 chapters.
Yes. So, devil tempted Job twice. Yes, first time Job lost all his property. Second time he lost all his health. And his friends came to him for maybe give some consolation, but they couldn't say even a word. Yes, like John Chrysostom said that we should honor the hard suffering by silence. Sometimes also better not to give consolation by silence, keeping silence, because what can we say? Like proverb also, the person who full cannot understand person who in hunger. Yes, so we cannot fully understand person feel suffering of other person if we are not sufferer. So sometimes better to to keep silence. But also these friends, they were very upset because they thought that Job he is sinner because God punished him for his. We know that this is not true. Yes, but they thought that it's from God, this punishment from God, because he's sinner. He just don't want to accept that. So that's why they started to, well, friends. They cried, loud voice and woe, and each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his hand. Yes, because they were very upset about themselves. How can we be so mistaken? This is sinner, and we thought this is righteous man. The parallel place it's a book and Acts also when. Let's open. Why not? Book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 23. But we need to return. Don't lose book of Job. Of course, book of Acts should be everywhere. So chapter 22, verse 23. You can listen, you can find. When Apostle Paul taught gave some sermon to pagans, and they also was very upset about it. And what do? Then as they cry out and tore off their clothes and threw dust into the air. The commander ordered him to be brought into barracks, said they should be. So this is reaction of some very big emotion, very big like disagreement. If they see like some kind of sin, they did exact same thing. You see, yes. So and after when keep silence, let's go book to book of Job, chapter 3. After they kept silence long time, Job start to talk, and he start to curse his day of birth. And this is very confusing for us. He's righteous man, how can he talk this kind of words? So I'll read all this chapter and then we discuss. So please follow, Asaf, please follow chapter 3, book of Job. Yes. Okay. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day, saying, May the day perish on which I was born, and the night in which they said, Behold, a male child. May that day be darkness, and may the Lord do not regard it from above, nor may the light come upon it. May darkness and its shadow and death seize it. May a cloud settle on it. May the day and night be cursed. May darkness carry it away, may it not come into the days of the year, may it not be numbered with the days of the month, but may the night be sorrow, and may no gladness come upon it, nor joy. But may he who curses this day curse it, even he who is about to subdue the great sea monster. May the stars of the night be darkened, and may it remain dark. May it not come into the light, and may it not see morning star arise. Because it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, for it would not have removed sorrow from my eyes. Why did I not die in the womb? Why did I not perish immediately when I came from the womb? Why did the knees receive me, and why did I nurse the breasts? For now I would have been lying down in quiet, I would have slept and been at rest. With kings and counselors on the earth, who were insolent with their swords, or with rulers who had abundant gold and filled their houses with silver, or I would have been like an ultimately birth, proceeding from his mother's womb, or like infants who never saw the light. There the ungodly have burned out of fury of wrath. There were weary in body are at rest. Their men on ancient time have ceased together to hear the voice of those who collect taxes. The small and great are these, and the servants who feared his master. Why is light given to those in bitterness, and life to souls in pain? Who long for death but do not obtain it, digging for it like treasures, and would be very joyful if they could obtain it. Death is a rest so much a man, for God is against him. For groaning comes before my foot, and I weep and I press with terror, for the terror I concerned about came to me, and what I feared happened to me. Neither was I at peace or quiet, nor rest, for wrath come upon me. So you see, his Job cursed his day of birth and say many words. And this is not just despondency that it seems to be. So it's more deeper. So why is it so? So first of all, that starting of meeting the God very often starts that meeting of evil in the world. And Job, he just met the true nature of world, the nature that we are living like in very good world, like we build wall between ourselves and all bad things in our world. We are very separate from it. But in reality, world is not very good place. We know a lot, but how much more we don't know. Yes, about evil. And Job, he saw the truth, the deepest evil that hiding in this world. He met it, and without any walls and without any beauty things, without pink glasses like we wear, he met it. He met suffering. Yes. So when he saw that any man, he born in this world, he born in evil world, and he cursed it. So he wanted. So what is curse actually? What is to something to become holy and something to become cursed? Holy, it's divide something to God, but curse, it divides something out of God. This is right. We know also, yes, good, God is good. All it together with God, it's good also. Any good from God, any good things from God, any evil things is against God. So if we deliver something for God, it means consecrated to God. It means it became holy, like parted, be consecrated to God. That's why, and also that we separate to God, we cannot take it away. That's why what we start to use an altar, we already can't use ordinary things. Also in church. Also, if someone bring his life to God, like monks, nuns, they already cannot return. They already consecrated it, cannot take away from God. From God we cannot steal. It's already was brought to God. So But cursed things, it's except of this, it's thrown away from God's eyes, like yes. Yes. And this world is cursed because it was divided from God by ancient sin, by evil, by devil. And we see, yes, so from beginning again we return. May day perish on which I was born, and the night in which I said, Behold a male child. May the day be darkness, and may the Lord not regard it from above, nor make the light come upon it. May darkness and shadow doth seize it. Also very interesting, some saints, for example, you know Saint Matrona of Moscow, she born blind, yes, and everything thought, oh, how is bad that your child is blind, or how is bad that a child is deaf and cannot hear, in some ways. But yes, I remember some man came to some old elder and said, "Oh, my child is deaf, cannot hear at all. So why is it so?" And this elder said, "Look at this from other side. So evil thing in the world that he can hear, so bad words that he can hear, and he never hear these bad words. He never, and also our eyes, so many bad things in our world we can see, so and she never see it. Yes, and also, so we cannot see that it's always bad. Yes, it's like protection from the world, also for some kind of men, and also some kind of men that we call them like blessed or like fools. Yes, foolish, or some how to say, some sick people, like like they already, for example, 30, 50 years old, but they mind like 5 years old. Dementia is different.
Alzheimer's.
It's different. That's
Ibalik pagkabata ang buot.
dementia or Alzheimer at when person was normal, and then in the end of the day he became like child. But this like stay in childhood until all his life. Yes, I don't know how it's in English. So it's also diagnosis also, but some autism diagnosis. Yes, the people lived like also like it's protection from many world. Their flowers of their virtues grow some in this very different way. Their relationship with God very different way like ours. It's a special gift. Of course, in the after resurrection they will be normal, but it's their also gift, and they can use it for goodness. And everyone who start to work with this kind of kids, with this kind of people, they said they're very kind, much more. It's much more enjoy to work with them, like with ordinary people even. So much love, so much, yes, fun. Even our, in Alabel, also everyone loves how's the name of Alabel? This.
I do have experience, Father, because my sister.
Yes. Yes. Everyone in nowadays, they're afraid of this kind of difficulty, this kind of person, because everyone of our modern people, they're very proud, and they want to live for themselves. They want, of course, this kind of people need to have more care, need to have more attention, and if someone has in this family this kind of people with some disease, with maybe autism, or maybe with blindness or deaf or something else, says, "Oh, how bad is it?" He don't think about child. He actually think about himself. How hard it's be for me. How I cannot live for myself anymore. I need to take care about this person. But for person, actually, it's always good. All that God give us, it always can be helpful. Of course, any disease not good. Any disease, it's because of corruption of the world. But God use diseases, God use evil, He changing it. Yes, and this kind of disease can be protection from us. Yes. And also you said that sometimes actually it's better for someone to die even after birth immediately. But we remember it was in Old Testament, it's different. Because this world is worse than hell, he said. Because in hell no one can sin anymore. Of course, hell is not pleasure place at all. We are talking about Old Testament, yes. It's not punishment from sin, yes, yet, but in Old Testament, everyone went to under shadow, like like under shadow of death, like they are lie down in dark places without cannot move. They became weaker and weaker, and it's not pleasure at all. Just lying in dark place can do nothing. If you have patience, of course, if you lie, for example, you want to drink coffee, yes, and you lie down you want to check internet, you want to check Facebook or to talk with someone, but you cannot, you're alone. You lie in the dark place and can do nothing. It's also can cause you suffer, but because your patience can cause suffer. If you too apply the world to some things, this will start to bother you like a worm inside you, eating like a worm. Yes. But no one can do sin anymore. Why world is worse than hell? Because world actually born all this Gehenna, born all the hell suffering. All sins that we have that we committed in world, they created all hell, all Gehenna. And also, we are glory to God. We need to be thankful to God for our lives because we are not suffer too much. We are not meet evil too much also in our lives. But many people, they lived in very, very bad conditions. They are suffering a lot. Like you also remember in Bible, there was Lazarus who sitting near the rich man fence, and he has a sores that only doors leaking it, and so he suffered a lot. Some people, they grew up in very bad families with a lot of violence. Yeah, some people until now they were sold in slavery, and different kind of slavery, and they were drug addicted. They didn't want, but because they're slaves. Someone went to prison. So very dirty things happen in this world. And this one, so they suffer here, these people suffer here, and for them it's actually that they have after death, it's not worse. Especially here, but here now situation is different, because if someone baptism, we have possibility to go to paradise, yes, but it's also like big relief to be together with God. But in Old Testament it's different. Also, verse 5, may darkness and shadow of death seize it. So shadow of death, it's what happened, yes, that into like dark place. May a cloud settle on it. May the day and night be cursed. So day and night be divided from God. Day and night that I born. May darkness carry it away. May it not come into the days of the year. May it not be numbered the days of the mouth. But may the night be sorrow, and may no gladness come upon it. So Job asked not to count, not to number these days of like a time. This is also a big question, because for God, sometimes time not numbered like time. For God, some days, even some years, even some months not exist. So if that's why it's a big problem with time sequences in Bible. We cannot count, because in Bible all periods then Israel was against God, it just dropped it out. It's not counted, not numbered in God. It's like cursed days, cursed years, even cursed years that everyone worshipped to Baal, to some false gods, just. So for God, some days not exist. But if we full days like vanity, like some earthly things, that especially sins, God just omitted them. It's not exist. It of course it's happened. It's worse for our soul, but God don't look at it. And Eve asked God not to number it, not to count it as days. But may he who curses the day curse it, even he who is about to subdue the great sea monster. So here, Job little bit raise up the cloth of mystery why it's all happened. So he sees some kinds of sea monster, Leviathan, that who stay with powers, who stay beyond the death, beyond all evils in this world. It's talking about devil. This is sea monster, of course, it's an image of devil. So he also knew that from the man, the death came to the world. All this death, all this evil, and all this deep of evil and sea monster came to the world, and world became cursed. World became divided from God. And he asked actually, may he who curses this day curse it. So he cursed this day. It's a God, yes. It's a man, yes, Adam, who make this world divided from God by his sin. And he knows also that there will be men who also curse it, who saved this world, who will come, even he who is about to subdue the great sea monster. So the one who will come for fight for this sea monster, who come for evil. But about this we will talk after. Make the stars and night be darkened, and may it remain dark. May it not come to the light, and may it not see the morning star arise. Because it did not shut up the doors of my mother womb, for it would have removed sorrow from my eyes. Why did not I die in the womb? Why did not I perish immediately when it came from the womb? So we again return. Yes, he cursed. He said that better for him to be dead, yes, rather than to meet this world of evilness. And this we return actually that this is start of meeting of God, to understanding of God, understanding of ways of God. When he meet all evils of this world, when we met the world with what is true world. Like problem also we will discuss it after. Problem of many teachings, they think the world like ideal, and we need just to teach people, for example, like humanists, that oh, people are good, we need just to teach them, understand them, and we will live like in paradise on the earth. Or communists also, we can build society on the earth like paradise, but they not count that this world corrupted by sin, and these experiments that happened about communism, it was very bad government with violence, with a lot of not freedom at all. It's not like paradise, it's like hell actually, because of corruption of evil. And law that we have, government authorities that we have, they just try to stop a little bit, to shorter the evil, but of course fully they cannot do this. But I discuss this. For now I would have been lying down and quiet, I would have slept and been at rest, with the kings and counselors of the earth who were insolent with their swords, or with rulers who had abundant gold and filled their houses with silver. Or I would have been like an ultimately birth, proceeding from his mother's womb, or like infants who never saw the light. There the ungodly have burned out of fury of wrath. There the weary embodied rest. The men of ancient time had ceased together to hear the voice who collect taxes. The smallest and great are there, and the servant who fear his master. So he discussed, yes, better to be in hell. There is no new sufferer. There is no new like evil. This world have a lot of unrighteousness, yes, and evil things. So that's why he discussed the kings and counselors on the earth who were insolent with their swords, so that who take a lot from innocent people, and they created, or rulers who had abundant gold and filled their houses with silver. How did they receive their gold? Usually not very true ways. Yes, so this world created a lot of evil things, a lot of unrighteous things, and also in Bible we can see a lot of in Psalms and that there is no righteousness on the earth until now. The righteous, full righteousness, full judge can be only after. So here we cannot find until the end. And he said, you have said that much better in the hell that there is no this more, this unrighteousness, this evil things. Yes. And also much more for evil. I guess it's. Yes, let's next reverse. The small and greater are there, and the servants who feared his master. So in the hell, all are equal. The smallest and greater are there. There already no difference between rich and poor, between authorities and just simple men. All are equal in hell or after death. There is, yes, but they are, yes, in the term of death. Yes, after death, everyone like equal. Yes, of course there is difference in terms of sufferer after death. But if in terms of Old Testament, yes, that they lying down the full righteous, full judge, full like hell and punishment will be after great judge. But until that, there is not full. There are also difference, yes, but not full. And there, in terms, yes, now you see, like rich people, people who have power, they can even do crime and then have no punishment. They have good food every time. They have good drinks, a lot of joy things, like fun things and so on. Yes, but poor people or few people who suffer, they have, yes, they suffer a lot. But if you see after that, they immediately lie down in the same condition, no difference. Of course, maybe cover of their graves is different, but what's the point? It's, yes, they're all equal. So death like wash away all these differences, and in this term they're equal. Of course, in terms of themselves, they're difference, but difference because if you are rich, but you do good things, also it will be helpful. But if you're poor and suffer, but in your suffer you just blame God and everyone, just murmuring, this is also not good. So we're not discussing the difference of their souls. It can be, of course, different, but in terms of appearance, they are very same. No difference that we can see in this world. All equality becomes equal. And also, yes, why is the light given to those in bitterness and life to souls in pain, who long for death but do not obtain it, digging for it like treasures? So, and he also wonder why we have this life if all that we have finished by death. What's the reason? Yes, and this is very big question for all of us. So, death give us like true meaning of everything that we have. So I have much money. Would it be me helpful after death? No. I have good clothes. Would it be helpful? No. Also, death tell us what is truth and what is not truth, what is just vanity or like evil things. And really, yes, what's the point of this life? And Apostle Paul said also, if there is no Christ, no meaning. If there is no resurrection, no meaning. Yes, just eat, drink, and because tomorrow we will die and that's it. What's the point? But we have meaning. Yes, we already know. After Christ came, we know. So that's why we should keep patience, why we should grow up our souls, because after death there is other life. After death there will be resurrection. There will be new life. But for Eve, it's a big question, and would be very joyful if they could obtain it. Death is a rest to such a man, for God is against him. And this is for Eve much painful thing, because he cannot see God. He see God and he cannot understand where is God. I'm suffer, so he cannot understand why all this happened. This is like a whirlwind of death, like of suffer that he saw. It's like became a wall between him and God. He cannot see God behind it, beyond all this evil of the world that became around him. That he see, and also he saw not the full of evil of the world. He saw only small part of it, and he already suffered too much. Yes, but you remember that Christ, when he prayed, God, please this cup of suffering be passed. Christ took all this suffer of this world. He took all this envy of evil of this world. He took it on himself, and of course it was. We cannot imagine how it was. So Job saw only part of this abyss, and Christ took it, drank it all by this cup of his suffering. He saw and he drank it all. For groaning comes before my foot, and I weep and oppressed with terror, for the terror I was concerned about came to me. And what I fear happened to me, neither was any peace or quiet nor a rest, for wrath come upon me. Yes. So man brought this evil abyss of evil, black abyss of evil to the world by his sin. Yes, and Job met it face to face. We very often want to build like our world, our house around this, like divide ourselves from people who suffer, close our eyes. Very often, also it's about about giving something to people who suffer, who ask something, money. Bajau is a good example because they are not really in needs. But sometimes people are in needs, and sometimes people give to them some money or something, not because they want to help. They don't want to feel the true sufferer that is around them. They want to think that, oh, all is good, all is like a violet glasses, all pink glasses. Yes, all around is good. If they feel bad, of course if we see someone who suffer, even creature, even we see dog or cat who suffer, we feel pain. It's so much more than we see men who suffer. Yes, that's why better let's bribe, give him money and he go away. Do not show me anymore yourself. Yes, do not remember me that you are suffer. If he suffer, but I know, really I know that I can help suffer people because I can share what I have with him. I can help him fully. Not sometimes I can, sometimes not, of course. But really, what is real? If someone suffer, for example, I read story yesterday. There was one woman. She just happened that she lost her house because her house was. She had no house. She was. She had a husband. She had mother and some kids, few kids. But her mother was alcoholic and drank a lot, and husband also as well. So husband became sick, went to hospital, and mother and house where we live was in the name of mother, and mother, she sold it for just some very cheap price and spent all for alcohol. So, and it happened that she and few kids just happened that she on the street, like without, and it's not like in Philippines that you can live in the street. Actually, it's not good. But in Russia, in winter, and she has no food, she has no good house. They live some in there are good houses, and there are houses for like for uh, for cows, for horses, some pigs. So they like piggery, yes, like, and they need to live in this piggery, really. And she went to church near church to ask money, like standing with hand. And there was one man social worker of church, and he saw her, and she didn't just give him money and so, oh, I forgot about you, but he saw that she really shy to she's like new here, and she's really shy to ask, and she started to talk, ask her what is her story, checked it, and found a temporary shelter, found a work for her. So then she started work in church and so on. So helped her a lot. Unfortunately, after some time, she was killed some crime. So it's very, yes. But she became, for many years, she became good social worker for church, and she knew that situation, and she came. Everyone can also happen, not because he is bad, not because he don't want to work, but maybe some circumstances happen that she on the street now, and she really looked at people in different eye, and she tried to be very helpful with all her heart and soul to everyone who came. So this is true meaning of help when someone came, not just give him. Of course, if we never have enough time, never have enough power, but we need to help. We need to find in ourselves how we can help others, really others who need help, not just who said, because people always complain, yes, oh, I'm so poor, I'm so poor. I remember one family that we just talk and this, oh, so poor, so hard to life, very so bad, like I imagine like they even have no food, so they complain so much. And next day I knew that they bought new car. So yes, very. So that's why I need to. We need help, but need to help with big wisdom. There is words that the money that you want to donate someone should be like be covered by became wet in your hand, because it's very long time. So because you think if it's necessary or not. So need to be very wise. Of course, I remember if you give money for someone, for your soul, if he's cheating, for your soul, it's always helpful. So it's not your sin. Except he asked money for alcohol or for drugs. If someone came, oh, I need money for drugs, or I need money to kill someone, or I need money to drink something. No, better not to give, of course, because we give money for sin. But if he asks for food, or better to give food, actually, yes, person, it's good. And for our soul, it's always helpful, always helpful. But better to help in way like I discussed with women, yes, to check life, check what is happening, how can we really help. You know, also example that better to give a fishing rod to person rather than fish, so he can catch fish for himself. Yes, to teach him, to give him possibility. Because sometimes, I don't know how here in Philippines, sometimes if people in Russia, they fall down, they lost the documents, it's very hard to go again to society, because they have no passport, to recover passport, lot of money, a lot of work, a lot of like documents collection. If you have no house, also very difficult. So it's not so easy. So if some of them people, if they receive really help, they return. Of course, if sometimes they receive help, they just waste it, and because they're alcoholics or some kind, they like easy way of living on the street. Sometimes it's easier because you just collect money, you're not working. Sometimes it happened, but sometimes some of people, they need just someone who helps them to bring back to society, to bring back to true life. So that's about help. So also here we can consider it as despondency, but this is not despondency. When person is despondency, he like connected on himself. He never seek God, but Job not so. He is seeking God, and much painful for him, for he cannot find it. He see only evil around him, and it's very painful. Even it's evil, but he saw this person see God, see how God acts in his life, and he need to suffer. It's okay, it's handleable. But for Job, much painful that he cannot see God, and that's why it's not despondency. When person despondency, he just think about himself, he pity only in himself and his condition. If is not so, it's very different. He just met really a little bit this abyss of sin, of death that created after, and he cursed it, wanted to be world divided it from God, and he asked where is God, and this all that he see surrounding. So, and next time his friend started to answer him, yes. So, and about this we discuss next time, tomorrow, after service, evening service, after food, after evening service. Okay, do you have questions?
In this chapter, Father, because Job is cursing of his birth, but not God.
Yes.
As what Father said,
How can?
as what Father said, he saw the world, how evil is the world.
Curse mean divide. Let it be divided from God. Let it be from. What is your question? So, yes.
Because how can we see that he is not cursing God, but he is cursing his birth because God gave him life, and it means that he is cursing his birth. With he is also cursing God to give him life like that. So I'm just confused that
He is not thinking about himself, and he said that better for him because he don't understand why God did it, to him. So, and he like we discussed, he didn't see God on it that's happened, and he didn't see will of God in his birth. So, and in person birth in this evil world, he cannot imagine um, that it was by will of God. So he saw evil of the world, he saw evil around him, but he cannot see God, and this is painful for him. That's why he cursed it.
Ah, so Father, because it's always an answer, it's always an answer, Father, when somebody is like, I remember my friend who separated from his parents, divorced, separated, and he was my classmate in college, and he had to stop school, Father, and so he went to me and we have a drink, and he asked me, like, because he was a bit drunk, Father, like, what's the meaning of, uh, because he was too much suffering, Father, emotionally, so he asked me, not ask, but he blurted out, Father, um, uh, like, don't say to me that, uh, don't say to me that God has a plan for this, because it's like it's for example for him, Father, it's too painful, and then for example, Father, that's only a small example, but for example, Father, in Rwanda there's genocide.
Yes, and from this book we actually see that why it always happened with Job and not work. It's not work of God. It's work of devil. Because of freedom of devil, devil asked God, but it's free. And in this case, it's a free will of their parents. God allowed this to do. God allow us. Yes, this is uh, actually this is how how dreadful our freedom is. We really can do so bad things, very bad things. Yes, and God allow is sometimes, yes, God allow if because God somehow change evil to good, for helpful. All evil can be useful for us. And in every evil that we do by our sins, God changing in the same way that in the end of all they brought a lot of good things. For example, communists kill so many Christians, yes, but so many martyrs we have now. They blossom like seed, blood of martyrs, the seed of the church. So.
So, for example, Father, those who have died in the Holocaust, for example, who are not Christians, who are Jews, how how can we justify that, Father? Like, God has purpose for the Jews. That's why 6 million Jews died.
It depends. No, they died because there was big evil things, just that Nazis did. It's it's their freedom. This actually that's one thing of the world that's very why world so evil. Yes, that's deepest of evil. Like person can kill other person thousands and millions just for some no reason even if truly or some kind of strange reason. Yes, but why is it for every single man this one we cannot know truly in our world? Sometimes yes, sometimes it's punishment for some sins, sometimes because also in God's eye God never punished twice for one sin. For example, for us, better to be punished here on the earth rather to be punished for the same sin after the death. So if, for example, I don't know, if someone kill someone, if I kill someone and I will killed, I already not be judged for this crime of killing, for murder, because I already suffer for this here on the earth. That's why how can we justify this? And of course, some suffer, they can wash out some of our sins.
But to an unbeliever, Father, it's really a hard concept to understand.
Yes.
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 Yes, this is that we talk about. This is if we see around, there is no righteous around the world. We cannot if in this world, if materialist we see, if after death there is no righteous, no great judge, not if Christ not justify everything at the end of the world. In this world we cannot see equality. We cannot see. We see some people there on the top who did very bad things, and someone who suffer whole life and then they're killed like for nothing. And where is the right? How we can justify? We cannot in this because there is no righteous, final righteous in the world. We cannot. All justification will be only on the great judge, on the great judge. Only there. And about this we have Psalm 72, if I remember. Let's by the way open. If I'm not mistaken, it's 72.
One person is good. Yes.
72 here in Orthodox, 73 in Protestant or Catholic. Found? Yes, I found.
7 more second pages.
Okay. 73 in your Bible, yes. How good God is to Israel, to the upright in heart. But as for me, my feet were almost shaken, my steps had near slipped, for I was jealous of the lawless when I beheld the peace of the sinners. So King David said that I was very shaken, and because he like walked on the path of righteousness, and he wanted to like he slept almost because he saw he was jealous for lawless who is not follow laws, and he was uh, yes when he saw the peace of sinners, the sinners in peace, and someone who not follow law, criminals, they are in prosperity. For there is no upward gaze at their death, no steadfastness in their chastening. They are not in difficulties as other men, and they shall not be chastened with other men. For this reason arrogance mastered them. They clothe themselves with their wrongdoings and ungodliness. Their wrongdoings shall go forth as from fartness. They pass through their heart's intent. They thought or spoke in evil. They spoke it wrongdoing to the height. They set their mouths against heaven, and their tongue passed through the earth. For this reason my people shall return here. Days of fullness shall be found to them. They said, how does God know, if there is knowledge in Most High? Behold, they are sinners, and they prosper. They possess wealth in this age. So he see what he is describing what he see in the world. That people who do bad things, who said, "Oh, God cannot see," and they are in prosperity, they are rich, they have no sufferer, they are in good condition, and they open their mouth against heaven and blamely atheists, yes, and have no sufferer at all. Yes, days of fullness shall be found to them. They said, yes, and even they possess wealth in this age. So in this age they have all wealth a lot. Yes. And I said, surely in vain have I kept my heart righteousness and washed my hands with the innocent. For all day long I was scourged, and my reproof persists through the night. If I should speak, I would describe it thus: Behold, I am breaking covenant with generation of the children. And I sought to understand in this. It was difficult in my sight. So even King David cannot understand it. He sought how to understand this, how to explain this, and he said that in the beginning, yes, was shaken, feet like shaken, like he fall down on the path of righteous, and he was asleep on the path of righteous. And 17, until I came into God's holy place and I understood their end. This is the answer. So until he come to church, to God's place, and he understood the end. What is the end? Not the death, because death seems they just died and all their lives was good. But what was after death? Like a parable about a rich man and Lazarus. Yes. Surely for the deceits you appointed deceived to them, you cast them down in their exaltation. Oh, how they came into desolation suddenly, they ceased to be, they perished in their lawlessness. like a dream to one who is awakened. So, O Lord, you shall despise the image in your city, for my heart was kindled, and my reins were changed, and I despised and did not know. I became like a beast before you, and I continually with you. You hold fast my right hand, with your counsel you guide me, and with your glory take hold of me. For that is there in heaven for me but you, and what do I desire there beside you? My heart and my flesh fail. O God, my heart and my God is my portion forever. For behold, those who keep themselves far away from you shall perish. You destroy away from you all who act unfaithfully. But for me, it is good to cling to God, to put my hope in the Lord, that I may proclaim all your praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. So the end. Here on the earth, as I said, here on the earth, there is no righteous, there is no justice. Only after the earth, only after heaven. And here on the earth we cannot understand this. Even King David could not. If we see only like on the earthly thing, but we should see like God look at us, because God always see that what will be next, what will be after death. Would it be helpful for our soul or not? And if it will be helpful for our soul, God allow this even evil thing to happen with us. But evil thing not from God, evil thing because of freedom of other creature, of man or devil or someone. More questions?
Because all those unbelievers all those like martyrs, it's good for them because they finally met God, and it also became the water which grew the church.
Yes, and for them also, for every of the sufferer they received rewards in heaven. So yes, for them it's better.
Because there's also always these memes, Father, on Facebook that in the atheist group. I used to be a member. I forgot to leave the member. Because they always put like they make fun of it, Father. Like, oh, your family died and you lost everything. Don't worry, God has a purpose for that. And they make it like a joke, Father, like, as a testament that God does not exist because all these things that happen.
But they cannot even. They are fun only because they have no real experience of that, of this sufferer. Because when you have real experience of sufferer, this is beginning of your path to God, to open God. If you don't become evil, don't fall in despondency, don't start to like protest against God, because you can see the deepest why. And after this book of Job, we will discuss what is happening next. So, and that's why Christ came actually to save us from all this evil that happened, because there is no other way, just to God to come here and save us. And without understanding truth of sin, truth of freedom will, truth of this abyss of sin, of evil, we cannot truly understand why Christ came. Why it's need to, like people, oh, why it's all good, why just God can make us holy in one and bring us to paradise. But if we will be brought in paradise in one moment, we will make it hell very easy in one moment. That's the problem. It's not enough. Just paradise and hell, not outside also, but it's inside our souls. It starts from our souls. Our souls, our free will, birth sins, birth hell, Gehenna.
Because Father, also I noticed, especially while reading the book, the one I'm reading now, it's the priests and monks were persecuted by the communists, became more and more closer to God during persecution, rather than they lost their faith.
Yes.
Instead, their faith were more realized. It's more emphasized.
Yes.
Build more deeper relationship while they were suffering instead of losing their faith.
Yes. There are many images about that, like in the world that we can see. Also, you need to put metal in fire to make it more strong. Yes, and we need to clean before cooking something. You need to clean it. Yes, so God by suffer cut from us patience very often. So because like come to cemetery, come to hospital, you see people there. So they not think about earthly thing at all, especially in hospital. They change their minds at all because all that we thinking about here on the earth, oh, how can I take more good job, more money. When you go to hospital, when your child is sick or your closest one or you is sick, all this it's nothing. Like it's already. Of course, money can help, but sometimes it cannot help. And if you have a lot of money and you are dying, and it's a big insanity for a person. Oh, who can I pay? How can I pay? How can I be healed? So it's this person very suffer when they die. They don't want to lose all these things.
And all their money, Father, cannot heal them. Stage 5 cancer, stage 4 cancer.
Yes. Not just because of oldness. Like what?
Suffering,
Jobs.
sufferings, rather, were just it's a part of telling that there is God. But if during suffering you're just thinking about your pleasure, you cannot never see God.
Yes, yes. Yes.
And that's why, now I part a more clear picture for the why you always say that sufferings is part in cleaning our souls, part in seeing the true God. Because if you're just only too much attached in this world, even how many sufferings you will be in your life, you cannot never receive it.
Yes.
You are too attached in this world.
But that's why God put you in this place that you need to be healed. For example, also someone, I don't know, someone has passion to something, and then he, because of this, or just for other reason, he got in prison, and in prison he has no he has no passion anymore because he cannot, I don't know. Now in prison it's very difficult because they have drugs and alcohol and a lot of these bad things. But I don't know.
So longer rehabilitation.
Yes. Sometimes it's just, or even if he in prison has no money, I don't know, maybe because of he cannot take drugs anymore, he became healed from that, his patients. So God divided us from patients by our suffering and by our sins, and that's why we can become healed sometimes. So if we attach by our hearts to something in our life, some earthly thing, and this is bad for our soul, God, it's happened that, for example, I attached to money, so robber came to him and take all my money. So no more money, no more to be attached to it. Yes, I can be suffer, I can be cry about it, but I need to live on without money anymore. Think to how to trust God, and so on. So that's how God works. That's why better to don't wait this one. Like it's like any sickness, even sickness here. If you if you have some sickness, if it's not very bad, you just drink medicine or some mixture or do some massage or some kind of procedure, little step by step, and you can be healed. But if you do nothing about it, if it's very bad, you need to go to surgery and need to be cut. The same thing, if our patient's not so hard, we have medicine, we have confession, we have mysteries of church, we have fasting. But fasting gives us possibility to cut out our passions, to cut out our that we are attached for, yes, and to be healed. But if we are not doing this, if we don't take this medicine, God should to be surgery to cut all our passions to save us. That's what's happened. Yes, and this is like a big thing that modern world, more than before, to attachment to pleasure, to take pleasure from everything from the world, like a goal of this world to take as many fun and pleasure as possible. And this is terrible, this is terrible. And that's why, yes, I read a few days ago some story about some marriage that final by divorce, and there was no big problem. So not like drunkenness or some kind of violence. No, just spiritual problem, because everyone of each of these spouses, they try to seek only pleasure from their lives, even in marriage. They don't want to give. And it happened when child was born, they were not ready, because when child born, you need to give yourself. You already cannot live for yourself to have pleasure. They want to live like they lived before, like go for a walk, go to TV, concerts, like earthly life. But with child, they can't do it anymore. So it's a big problem. Big problem happened, and that's why it came to divorce, unfortunately, because just spiritual problem. Because they wanted to take pleasure from everything, and it happened that this time with this pleasure, it's like a scent, like wind just flew. Like many years happen, but you turn around. Oh, why is year spent? Why I'm already so old. These years, last 10 years, last 20 years. Where are they? What did I do for these years? What happened? How did I fulfill these years? Just nothing. I cannot even remember. Just some fun and pleasure, but it gave me nothing. It's just for a while, like wind. Okay, let's pray.